Fairy Creek is an old-growth forest located on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. The forest contains many ancient trees as old as 2,000 years. This ecological treasure chest provides habitat for many rare and endangered species that are found nowhere else in this world. The Fairy Creek region is Canada's last untouched old-growth forest and is currently being logged by the Teal Jones Group, a private logging company from British Columbia. Over the past year, there have been protests to end the logging of this incredibly diverse forest. The Fairy Creek protests are the largest civil disobedience in recent Canadian history. There have been roughly 1,200 arrests, which have turned these protests into a case against police brutality, as many arrests have been made through violent means.
The RCMP are basically doing whatever it takes to remove citizens who want to protect the 1,000-year-old trees.
I applaud the actions of these courageous protesters who are risking their lives to stand up for a living creation that cannot speak for itself. Like Dr. Seuss's beloved Lorax, they speak for the trees, animals, river, and soil that are being devastated by the Canadian government's apathy. I think the protesters are brave for standing up and saying no, despite the risks, possible criminal records, ridicule, and hatred they face. The deforestation of Fairy Creek Forest is a human rights issue, an animal rights issue, a planet issue, and a climate change issue. And that makes it our issue. To be indifferent is to fail in our role of caretakers of the earth. How is it acceptable to take the life of a living organism that has withstood 2,000 years of drought, disease, pests, storms, and winters? Life is sacred, that is to say, it is the supreme value to which all other values are subordinate. Albert Einstein. Fairy Creek is located on Pacheedaht territory. The Pacheedaht have consistently said no to logging ancient forests. The Canadian government responded as they have throughout history when dealing with Indigenous peoples. They infringed upon the Pacheedaht's rights. The government listened, then responded saying, "We hear you, but..." The Canadian government and Teal Jones are saying they are better able to take care of the forest than the Pacheedaht. After deforestation, Teal Jones replants, but they plant a minute variety of tree species that in no way mimic the genetic diversity of the original stand, nor come close to replacing the habitat and haven that the ancient tree supported. The federal government does not respect the Indigenous people's right to the land Fairy Creek stands on, and that is abysmal. These are not actions one expects from the leaders of our nation in 2022. My government disappointed and angered me in their decision to side with Teal Jones, allowing them to cut down entire swaths of forest on Pacheedaht territory. Indigenous people around the world are taking a stand against consumer and economic actions and decisions that are harming the earth. In this, Indigenous peoples play an important role in reminding us that the natural world has far greater value than money to be gained from oil, pipelines, minerals, and logs. They remind us that the earth, untouched, is of supreme importance. What angers me most is our government's claim to care about the earth and to take action against climate change. The federal government claims mitigating climate change is a priority. Actions speak much louder than words. There is currently no law in all of Canada prohibiting the removal or logging of trees over a certain age. We have threatened, endangered, and critical labels regarding the protection of animal and plant species. Yet no such legislation applies to trees. No other species on Earth has such a huge sphere of influence on a habitat or the global ecosystem as a single old tree. We are actively building a pipeline that will prevent us from reaching our emissions reduction target of 50% below 2005 levels by 2030. That is horrendous. How can Canada claim to be an active member of the fight against climate change while choosing such actions?
Turn it up and make the revolution beautiful. I got this feeling. Let's go. Turn it up, I got this feeling. Yeah. Turn it up, I got this feeling. Yeah. Turn